You're watching Last of a Dyng Seed once again, the only platform on this planet where we use cinematic scenes to expose unseen narratives in the real world. And today we have Trayvon Harris on the channel, and the movie that he says best relates to his life is Goodfellas.
I saw the guys, man, they had everything they wanted.
Right.
Why would I do what you doing? And I could look at the guys that's out here living life, driving Cadillacs.
Right.
Awesome, right? So that's when I saw that part of the movie, it resonated with me. When he said, you know, all I ever wanted to be was a gangster. Like, that was my understanding. Like, oh, this is being a man. You know what I'm saying? Like being a gangster and being a man was two of the same things. Like the beginning stages as he was walking through his life, and it's like he was narrating it. And when he was a kid, he was explaining how he became associated with the mob. And like he started off as an errand boy. And I can relate to that because I remember the homies used to be like, hey man, go get me some ice cream. Here go $1. Like, I'm like, oh, I remember I used to do that. And other things like when he said, you know, all I ever wanted to be was a gangster. Like, that was my understanding. Like, oh, this is being a man. You know what I'm saying? Like being a gangster and being a man was two of the same things. They went together. And so like when he was like, yeah, the people that work, like they were miserable, man, we was hustling. So I always wanted to be a hustler. I always wanted to be a part of the crowd, you know, a part of the brotherhood of the homies, you know what I mean? So when I saw that movie, I was like, okay, yeah, this is something that's like feeding to my story as a kid. You know, I can relate to it.
Right. So, because I believe growing up in the streets, it's one or two ways that bring you into it. You either pushed in it, like, let's say homies that, little kids that's always up around the homies and shit. Hey, little nigga, you about to get put on. Right. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Or you going to a school that they feel like is their hood. Hey, y'all about to get put on.
Right.
Or your families is from there, so they feel obligated to tell you about to get put on. You pushed in it, but then, as you were just breaking down, you get pulled to it. You're infatuated with everything that's going on.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? So that's how you was pulled into it just by pure infatuation?
Yeah, I think it was more of like, not just pulled into it, but it was a way of life. It wasn't like, it was like, okay, it's not that I have to, this is what it is. So like, one of my like biggest influences was Paul, my godfather, right? This dude stomped down Gangster, right? And I remember being a kid, being in his house, and I remember how all the dudes would report. He was like Paulie, you know, Paulie in the movie?
Right.
Like they all reported to Paulie, they kicked Paulie his dudes and all that. Paul was like this dude, and I used to look at him when I was about, you know, I was probably 9, 10 years old, and I'm like, okay, this is Paulie. You know, I want, you know, he'd give me some money, and it was just like the respect he had, the respect he demanded was something like, oh, I want to be like that. The cars, the accolades, you know, it was like, okay, this looks fun. You know, it didn't look like, when the people that had jobs, he was right. They looked miserable. They would come home, complain about work, like, oh, I hate my job or this, man. Them dudes was having fun. They had nice cars, motorcycles, money.
Right.
So I wanted to do that. So I was like you say, yeah, I was kind of like, it's like a gravitational pull. It pulled me in, you know?
Exactly. And it's a scene up in the movie where Henry gets caught, right, for the first time, but he stays solid.
That's my part.
Right? And when he comes back out, he thinking that since he got pinched, as they say, you know, that they was going to be mad at him. They're like, nah, that's inevitable.
Right.
And he got that pat on the back,
Absolutely.
which only fueled him even more to stay down, stay up in this, right?
Yeah.
So I want to tie that into how we grow up in the hood.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
I'm going to give you a prime example. Now, it's funny you brought that part up because, like, it wasn't in that type of setting, but it was more like you get tested, and everybody know you're getting tested except for you.
Right.
So, like, I'm hanging out, and one of the older homies, he just had an issue with me. And everybody knew, okay, this is the test. I didn't know. I thought, okay, he just got an issue with me. So we wound up fighting. We wound up getting down. And after that, they're like, that's what's up. Like, it was more of like, okay, you one of us now.
Right.
And when I saw that part, I remembered, I said, oh yeah, okay, that's what they do. They want to make sure that when you put under pressure, you don't fold like how he told him. Man, look, you did everything you're supposed to do. You didn't talk, you kept your mouth shut, and you never told on nobody.
Right. And what about when you was in the pen though? You know, just going to the hole or to the shoe, and you get that pat on the back.
It's crazy, right? Like I tell people, right? When you first enter the street life, you got to prove yourself. You got to make sure, you know, you get your name right. And when you enter the pen, it's the same way. You start over. You got to prove yourself. It's a new world, right? And so once you get your hands dirty for the first time, and I'm talking about these dudes is like 40 plus years old, and they're like, oh, that's what's up. You know,
Right.
these is your elder statesmen in prison, and you trying to earn their respect. And once you feel you got their respect, you're like, okay, I'm one of the fellas.
Right. Oh, what was lacking that made that pull that much more easier? Made it easier for you to get pulled in. What was lacking in your life?
In the movie, he was talking about his father. He said his father, it was a scene where they got a letter from the school about him not going. And his father's like, hey, man, you've been missing school. And he just started wailing on him. Boom, boom, boom. And so he said, the beatings became normal. And it made him resent not being like his father. So somebody will tell you, go to school. But where's the payoff?
Right.
Where's the reward in going to school? Where's the instant gratification? Because when you're a kid, you don't understand the long-term grind of becoming successful. You want it right now. If you got dirty shoes and you need some new shoes, that's a need. You need that right now, you know? And no one had a solution from me at that age to say, hey, look, this is a path to do X, Y, and Z. And so when I saw the movie and he was like, man, having a job was for suckers. I really felt like that.
Right.
Because I saw the guys, man, they had everything they wanted.
Right.
Why would I do what you doing? And I could look at the guys that's out here living life, driving Cadillacs.
Right.
Awesome, right? So that's when I saw that part of the movie, it resonated with me like, oh yeah, I understand what he was saying.
Right.
Right.
And that's about a 3-hour movie, directed by Martin Scorsese. And for those who are living under a rock, break down what is Goodfellas actually about real quick. Goodfellas
is a story, it's based on a true story about a mob, person that was part of the mob that really flipped. And it goes through, it's really a love story because the movie kind of focuses on this relationship with his wife and how they met. And it also ties into, the whole lifestyle of the mob, right? But I wanted to focus on the beginning because that's what makes us because the things that attract us, right? And Goodfellas, they do a good job of narrating the story to it's believable. It's based on a true story, but it's fluff in there. But the more and more you do your research, you're like, oh no, this stuff really happened.
Definitely.
So,
and even the fluff, it relates to real life. We can tie that into every aspect of the streets.
Absolutely.
So, all right. So, tracing the whole movie, you were able to connect it to your past. But what lessons in the movie do you feel like still hold true today for you that you can extract up out of it?
For sure, it's being a man of your word. Like when Paulie told Henry, hey man, don't get in the dope game. He wasn't a man of his word and everything went bad. He said, I ain't gonna do it, I ain't doing it. And when people tell you things and you young, sometimes it's cool to listen. And when you say you're gonna do something, and somebody say, hey, don't get in the dope game, right? And you don't do it, you're a man of your word. And so like when you see those films and you see those situations where people didn't stick to their word and they go bad, you don't have to live that lesson to learn it.
Exactly.
You can learn that lesson through somebody else's experience.
Exactly.
And so like I make that correlation that like, I'm big on my word. So if I tell you I'm gonna do something, that's just what it is, man. I can't go against that. It's in my personal constitution. So like, like that part of the movie, just stand down because what happened was once Henry seen that he broke the rules, he's like, fuck it, I'm just gonna break all the rules. He started snitching. He started like, man, look, they gonna kill me, so let me just snitch. Let me do everything,
And then the drugs, it interferes with your right state of mind as well.
Absolutely.
So not only was you a man who lacked integrity, the drugs just made it that much more worse. You became that much more weaker.
Exactly.
To stay down when things hit the fan.
Exactly.
So, but like you said, keeping your word, that's a good one. You're breaking it down because on this channel, we want to make sure that you leave a positive charge at the end.
Right.
Like we can break down the streets and everything that went wrong and who was solid, who was fake, and the stuff Henry was doing. We know a lot of homies like that.
Absolutely.
Of every generation. There's always that one homie to where in hindsight you look like, damn, I should have knew he was gonna tell.
Right.
You know?
Right.
Because Henry ain't never killed nobody.
Nah. Even when they were killing Batty, he just locked the door.
Exactly. He
You
just
know?
helped rough a few dudes up.
Right.
Help hide the body.
Right.
He just didn't want to be the one that they was sharking on.
Exactly.
You know, but when it all hit the fan, you can look back and be like, damn, I should know he was gonna tell.
I think he earned their respect with the tobacco when he got caught with the tobacco.
Exactly.
And they tested him.
Yeah.
I think that's what bought him time, but it was inevitable.
Right.
Henry wasn't built for that.
Right. What else do you have going on in your life right now, on a personal level that people don't know about?
Like, what you mean, like
What are your goals? What are your aspirations?
Oh man, right now, man, my goals is just to keep living, bro. Because I mean, if you in the fight, you got a chance. Because I remember at one point I wasn't even in a fight. It was nothing I could do. So,
How so?
Like just being in prison with life. You know, I had a life sentence. So like I remember like wanting to do the everyday things that I couldn't. And I mean like just having a job, bro. Just being free, you know, being able to go outside when I want to, you know, things like that. So I think as you keep living, things become natural and they progress. If you are a person that's really like on progressing, you know what I mean? So like you start realizing, like my first couple years out, I was just happy with having a job and being free, bro. I was like, man, I remember when I was ecstatic.
Right.
But now, you know, I'm more like, okay, I'm past that now. You know,
Right.
things need to change. So now I'm putting more focus onto like understanding what passive income is, understanding like long-term plans for success as far as that a Roth account, good, you know, passive income, retirement plans, things like that. So I'm trying to structure my life right now for 75 years old. I'm trying to think. I'm 39 right now, but when I'm 75, I'm trying to vision where I want to be at that time. How do I want to look at 75? How do I want my life to look?
Right.
Yeah, so.
Definitely. Well, y'all heard it here. Trayvon Harris, as his life relates to the movie Goodfellas, man. So if y'all ain't seen it, go see it. If y'all seen it, go see it again, because I'm sure that with his perspective, he broke it down in a way that probably enlightened you a little bit more. So till next time, last with Dyng Seed.